And the first item on the agenda is our new board member, Mary Coleman. Welcome.
Welcome, Mary, welcome.
And approval of minutes for August 5th.
Motion to approve school board meeting minutes from August 5th.
Any errors, corrections, or omissions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And approval of minutes for August 7th.
So moved. Second.
Any errors or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, yeah. Well, now we can have public input. I like to jump out of order, it's fun. No public input. So, manifests are going around, treasurer's reports.
You have the treasurer's report, you have it on your computers. There's really nothing outstanding there. You can see what's left in the bank at the very end on the bottom as of July 31st. And this is a substantial amount. And other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's one large school premium holiday funds that came. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions?
Is it just a one page?
Just that one page,
Yes.
Jerry?
Yeah, just one page.
It's the
Okay.
first month of the year, so the year-to-date will be not go up like this.
Next month? Okay,
This month, we'll have 2 pages.
thank you. Any further questions from the board? No. Unfinished business, we have professional staff evaluations, procedures and documents. Steve, will you talk about that?
Yeah, that document I sent you over the weekend has a few minor changes, and I gave you another document that includes the feedback from the LTA. I think that feedback I got was that we just need to make sure that we keep everybody informed, some training, some retraining, some support that we need to be given to teachers as well as primary evaluators going forward this year. There, I did share with the principals. There is a 2-day conference coming up in late October that is built around the Danielson model, and it suggested that districts and the teams of administrators and teachers. And so that's something we could write into Title IIA grant, and if we get some interest in it, I think would be a great thing to do, because it's a, there's a supervision aspect to evaluation, but most of the evaluation process is about getting better, building trust, supporting teachers in their work, and heaven knows there's a lot to support them with these days. Lots and lots and lots and lots of challenges. So I think that the good thing is that the documents that we're using have been used in the past. The processes have been used in the past, but it's scaled back from what it was in the past, but it's certainly more comprehensive than what we've been using in most recent years. So it's a good compromise. If the board approves the professional staff documents and process, I'll share that with all the teachers. We'll go over with them on Wednesday, and then we'll solicit any additional questions they might have, and I'll work with the administrative team, those who do evaluations, to look at those questions or concerns the teachers have, and make sure we have a unified and consistent response when we start going back and actually implementing the process.
When is that conference?
It is October 29th-ish, late October.
So it would be the process of some possibly some evaluations would already be started.
Yes,
right?
well, certainly walkthrough.
Yeah.
Would be not, that the process certainly would have begun, the evaluation, the supervision evaluation process will begin, day one of
Yeah.
students, frankly, but, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's late October. I know Jennifer's already mentioned it's conveniently scheduled a week before NEASC, but, that being that is in May, I think it would be, again, I love the idea of administrators and teachers going together, and I think that's would be a great approach, and would be a great use of time to funds.
And the evaluation time, like August 15th, that's good, so, all right.
Yeah, that notification is taking place.
Any further questions from the
No, I
board?
read through it, it looks good, and so LTA is happy with it.
The next item on the agenda is the Lakeway informational meeting update.
Should have,
We need to
we should have
that.
Oh, excuse me,
approval of that.
sorry.
Yeah.
Very motion to approve.
Motion to approve the new evaluation procedure document and process.
For your second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the Lakeway informational meeting update. The dates are still September 11th and 18th, from 6:30 to 8 or whatever, in the Lakeway gym. I'll be talking on doing the introduction, the focus of age of the building and different items. Greg's going to be talking about major repairs. Safety problems, Chief Smith will be there both the 11th and the 18th. Chief Mercery, I think, will just be there on the question of the 18th. Kim is going to be talking about major deficiencies, location. He's going to be talked by Millie Nelson and Jim Annan and Steve. Crystal, I don't think you were here last time, but you're going to do pros and cons.
Education.
With Steve.
enough.
Sure.
Well,
And Mr. Mangles will talk about our bond expenses and when their final dates are due, so that the public knows. And that we will have a question and answer period to follow that, and hopefully we'll get all kinds of people. We do still have to get some ads into the newspaper. We're gonna talk about getting some 8x11 notices placed in town offices, banks, Chamber of Commerce, the brewery, Whimsy, Main Street businesses, Water and Light, and a few other places. We'll be working on that in the next couple of days. We'll be sending invites to selectmen, planning and zoning boards, parks and rec, advisory budget committee, police, fire, the hospital, local reps, Water and Light, public works, and library. Any questions? Any more comments from the board? There was nothing under new business, but there was something under new business. First of all, as many of you are aware, Dr. Niles has given his resignation, which will be effective about November 4th. The board has already started the superintendent search through school spring. We have had 7 applications so far. At this moment in time, the board will be the ones to interview potential candidates as soon as we can and whenever we can. And then we'll go further on from that if we have to. That's all I can tell you this moment. So, any further questions? Principal reports, director reports, special ed, Kelly Nolan. Oh, wait a minute, excuse me, Al. I said you could go next. I did.
Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, the administrative team been involved in some really positive work, retreat for actually a whole day, working on our goals. So it's a really productive and positive day until the end. So at the end of our meeting, Dr. Niles announced that he would be leaving. So we were all kind of in shock, but we thought it best pull ourselves together and collectively write a statement. So Just going to read the statement now, that the administrative team extends our deepest gratitude to Dr. Nylas for the support that he has provided to each of us. He has given us the opportunity to grow as administrators and as a team. Under his direction, we have been able to make continued progress as a district. His support and guidance improved our ability to do our jobs successfully. He created a shared vision for our district and our community, allowing us to maintain continuity while he was at the helm. Dr. Nylas established and maintained, and still does today, excellent relationships, and was always, and I'm sure will be, visible in our schools and community. It was always evident that Dr. Nylas made all students and learning his priority. The administrative team will continue to work towards the initiatives that he has led, and we will have a deep appreciation for his leadership and an understanding that it would be a difficult challenge to no longer have him as part of our team. He would most certainly be a difficult person to replace. It is with a heavy heart that our team wishes Dr. Nylas luck and says goodbye to my district, but we'll certainly still see you around the whole. As anyone who has received an email from Dr. Nylas, there are words from Maya Angelou. We've all seen those words, but I really think it speaks to his ability to have people work together as a team. And that quote is, people will forget what you have said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So just representing the admin team, thank you very much. We all enjoyed it.
I'd like to add to that because I've worked with many superintendents in my career, and I will say that Steve was probably one of the best I've ever known. He was wonderful. He welcomed everyone, from the cooks, the custodians, the teachers, everyone.
They all do the work. Thank you. Better now.
Thank you.
Nice. That was very nice. Nicely done. It was nice.
So, Kelly Nolan, you're up next.
I get to follow that.
I don't think you do it.
This is why they're so much fun to work. They have such a great sense of humor, which working with me is a good thing to have, by the way. Humor and patience, humor and patience.
So our enrollment for August is 138 students right now, and there's a breakdown of numbers by disability there. We still currently have one para position that's open. We have been interviewing, and we're still in that process. Hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have a nomination. Some updates, our IDA grant for fiscal year 19 and 20 has activities have been written in, and that's been approved. Right now, we just have staffing out of that grant that's been written for, so. And then our alternative assessment for students on IEPs, this is the exception of up to 1% of the total population that can take this test. We had 4 students participate, and I just gave you a breakdown of how they scored on the assessments. The teams will take the information that we get a whole packet of information that shows the skills that they have and skills that they may have some deficits in, and so they'll take that information back and use that to develop their programs and curriculum around that. So, if there are questions about that? It's about all the information I can give you without breaching any confidentiality. So.
Thank you. Easy Boston Middle School, High School.
So we still have kids enrolling even today. So our enrollment numbers, this was as of last week, 336, lower than last year, but I know we Wanted to give some feedback on the end of the year community survey we sent to our families. We did receive 43 responses. It's not overwhelming number of families, so the numbers need to be looked at with that in mind. So 70% of those who responded were satisfied with the teaching and learning we provide. 75% believe we provide a safe learning environment. This is, on the scale of 1 to 4, so I'm looking at just the 3s and 4s. Several 2s, I didn't write that down. Okay. This is the best way for me to do that. Proficiency or better. 73% feel comfortable with relationships established with teachers, counselors, and administrators. 62%, which is the lowest number here, however, with a new effort and initiative, you're bound to be growing. In the way I formulated the question allowed from some open feedback, which I didn't decipher. I just looked at what the choices were, and not the open feedback, but they believe the additional competencies, the addition of the competencies to our academic achievement reporting is helpful in supporting them with understanding their child's strengths and challenges. Some of the narrative responses echoed that, but I just left that chunk since it wasn't in that specific category. Some of the goals we have based upon the feedback we received, and we received some feedback on each of the areas, our goal areas, as well as open feedback on what we're doing well and what we should improve on. So we will continue to improve our communication and transparency with families by providing learning opportunities and avenues for communication that meet their needs. We included a lot of communication details in the feedback we received from them, the best ways and the best times to communicate with them. We established the protocols. One thing we're really working on is that consistency piece. The late work procedures and the reassessment procedures will help them see some of that consistency. Establishing a consistent online location for teacher resources and assignments. We're integrating Unified Classroom as an element of PowerSchool that will allow them to access that information from one platform. And we worked on formalizing our 3-year plan, 3-year competency-based education plan for our stakeholders. So in front of you, you have probably 3 pages. I won't go through every bit of it because I know that you've had this since last week. But we highlighted the transition in 2017-18 with finalizing our course competencies. 2018-19, we did the planning, instructing, assessing the course competencies and reporting out on them. As we move into 2019-20, this coming school year, we're working on that consistency in our assessment practices, transitioning towards a 4-point scale for reporting. That's something we'll be beginning with middle school next year, discussing the percentages. Integrating some personal learning approaches that result in improved assessment scores. You've seen that with our scholars track in our alternative middle school classroom. We have this year increased our AP offerings, and we've started collaboration. Al and I met with the community college last week to look at the Running Start courses that we could offer, because that's just giving them the option to pursue it, to be closer to achieving their 2-year degree. The 2020-2021 school year, we're looking, one of the big changes we'd like to see for the following school year is, instead of freezing our grades on the quarter and having progress reports, just one progress report prior to the end of the quarter where the grades are solidified, shifting to multiple progress reports, 3 progress reports with a semester freeze on our grades, so that they can have more assessments that contribute to their competency scores. One of the limitations to grading on the quarter and freezing your grades on the quarter and averaging that grade with the next 3 quarters is that they've got fewer assessments measuring their achievements. So we'll be looking at transitioning to that in the following year, hopefully doing a rolling grade, which is a best practice in competency reporting. Some of the feedback from the families were just get it right. We can't just jump in. Some schools might have jumped it right into competencies, and we're being very strategic in that transition because it's a learning experience for everybody, parents and students. So that's just the start of our 3-year plan. We'll put it up on the website so people have that. We'll review it at our parent orientations tomorrow night and Thursday night.
Here we go.
No, it's our turn. All right. Fallon Smith, I've mentioned it probably at 2 different board meetings. I'm so proud. Is a New Hampshire Youth Poet Laureate, and she's composing a poem for our opening day assembly with the students. So I'm really happy that we're sharing that talent with our whole school community. I'm going to ask, and this I put into today, I forgot to put it in. We have a book club called The Inklings. Mrs. Hayden, some of you know Mrs. Hayden. She taught here for many years. She taught Latin and English. She'd like to donate $850 to a book club. And I'd love to take that and use it to purchase the books, but I need board action, I believe, to accept the funds and allow me to establish a student activities account for that book club. In addition, she's worked on her obituary already with her daughter. It breaks my heart, but she would like that to be a place where people can donate in her memory. So that's something I'll need some action on.
That's nice.
And finally, Above the Notch Community School is seeking to be a partner of the month through the Littleton Food Co-op. They're doing a presentation, I think it's tomorrow. It's very competitive. I didn't realize how competitive that was, but very competitive. If they do receive that honor, we'll be looking at the same kind of thing, I believe, because those funds will be used for food and resources for the students. But we can talk further about that if that reality comes to be. I think that the Personnel Committee still has some community service coordinator outline that they're considering. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm getting nervous as we start the year and I'm getting papers in and I want to make sure we're doing it right. And then the 2 upcoming orientations, grades 8 through 12 is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. 7th grade is Thursday at 6 p.m. for students and parents. And we have had some support sessions, and we've published support sessions for doing the online paperwork for the start of the school year. So we're hoping that more people take advantage of that, but some people can just do it on their own, but we need them to know we're here for support too. That's all.
That's all.
Okay.
You want to make a motion now to accept that $850? Well, are you ready for that, Jen?
I'm ready for that because she's
She's
been
ready for that.
asking and she
Okay,
is
yeah.
really ready. She's,
Well, let's do it.
And that has to, you accept it
I thought she was.
for a student activity fund rather than for district funds.
Oh, yeah. Can we specify the student activity,
Yes.
the actual student activity? Yeah. Can we do it? Sure. Well, I'd like to make a motion to accept the generous donation of Mrs. Hayden for $850 for a student activity fund to fall under a book club at Littleton High School
in middle school.
and middle school. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
so the next thing on our agenda is middle school, high school counseling program presentation. Taking you there, Cassidy Moore.
First, I'll introduce myself. I'm Cassidy Moore. So very excited to meet you all and to be here.
And then I have something about.
Yeah. So we're going to talk to you today about career college. So stuff we have been doing and introducing them some new stuff that will be hopefully in scheduling this coordinating this year. So what we did was we have a packet for you. If it's too small, we have these bigger ones for you to look at, depending on what you need. I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, it's good.
Barely.
I just need you to speak loudly, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you don't.
I'm
That I can handle, that I can speak loudly. All right.
only joking.
I think he was kidding.
So the way that we did this was we broke it up by opportunities that we've already been providing for the students, and we did it by grade level. So starting with 7th and 8th grade and working our way to 12th grade. And this is throughout the whole year, and it's continuing, and there's a couple things that happen at certain points of the year, but pretty much we provide ongoing support and letting the students know about different career paths, different college paths, scholarships, financial aid, all the things that they would need to know as they move into post-secondary options. I'll point out a few things. So at the middle school level, we work a lot with these students on transitioning them up to our school, especially at the 7th grade level. We work a lot with them on even just building their self-esteem, social emotional pieces, but then we do meet with them and offer during task time for them to do some career exploration, just kind of get their feet wet into it. At the 8th grade level, we start introducing them and even more into that. And then there's a Girls in Technology Day that we bring 8th grade girls to every year. It's happened both in Concord and in Berlin, and it gives them a taste of the STEM career path, because there's not a lot of females who go into that, and they're kind of, trying to push them in that direction. At the 9th grade level, we start pushing it even more. This past year, we were able to do Idea to Career with all of the 9th graders. So a team of us broke the students up into smaller groups, and they were able to make their way through curriculum that was through a website that we had worked with. And basically, it walked them through, okay, so this is your personality type, and this is how it fit into a career, and these are the careers that you might enjoy. And then they could delve a little deeper into what those careers actually look like and what they mean. 10th grade, we started to talk to them about college courses, so eStart, which is online, and then talking to them about what running. And at the 10th grade level, they cannot qualify. They don't qualify for running stuff, but we start talking to them about those classes and what it means to take those classes, and the credits that they can earn through those. We also take them to an early college informational session at White Mountain Community College every year, so they get to see a college campus and kind of get an idea of, do they want a 2-year, do they want a 4-year school, and kind of getting them used to that path. 11th grade is a little bit more intensive than 10th grade. They are invited to a mini college fair that we do in the fall every year. That is coordinated through an outside organization, and then they come and set up booths, and we probably have about 12 to 15 colleges that come and talk to the students. They also get ready to take the SATs. So in the fall, they take PSATs, and in the spring, they take the PSATs and SATs. And then in between, we set them up on Khan Academy, because it automatically links their scores to Khan Academy, and they can work through some of the stuff that they're finding challenging. And we do that during task time. We also do a parent and student informational night about college. So information that pertains to, okay, so this is what it would look like when you go to college, and you can major in whatever you want, and what do you want to look for in college? What would be your best fit for you? What does financial aid on a basic level look like?
So you do that individually with a parent and the student?
We do that as an informational session at night. So we invite families to come.
But you have one, you do, when they make appointment, they have one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did that already.
Yep. So basically, our appointments are open for anyone at any grade level.
Okay,
Typically, what we find is that the 11th grade
Yeah.
and senior families are
sure.
more into making those meetings, so we make time to meet with them, whether it's in the morning, in the evening, whatever they need. All right, and then 12th grade is our most that we do. We pretty much get them ready for their post-secondary career or college path, however they choose to make their decision. So we bring, and the juniors go to Plymouth State every year, and they do. We tell them, we make sure we tell them you don't have to go to Plymouth. This is not where we're bringing you, but we're getting you used to this is what a 4-year school could look like, and they walk through their admission process, so they start to learn like what they need for, in general, SAT scores, GPA, and kind of giving them that information as well. So that typically happens in the spring of their junior year. So seniors, they also attend the mini fair that happens in the fall. They also go to UNH to attend a college and career fair, a college fair. And then we usually reach out to an alumni and they get a tour of UNH so they can see a larger school and see if a small school like Plymouth or a large school like UNH would be a better fit for them. We also, for juniors, let them know about college reps that are coming to the school. So they sign up through guidance, and then we let the kids know who's coming in, and then they can come and talk to the reps personally and get more information about the school that they may be interested in. We already have reps that are signing up for this fall. We have a pretty full calendar with them already. We also do a financial aid parent night for parents and students so they can learn how to do the FAFSA and learn about scholarships and grants and anything that they might need to know about paying for college. And then we do a final confirmation towards the end of the year with what they are planning on doing. All the students who apply to college and get accepted and what they decide to, which the school they decide to go to, they tell us in guidance on what they're doing when we meet with the students about their plans. So that's a brief overview of what we do. So Cassie's going to talk about some things that we have that are new for this year.
So next up is new opportunities and things that we're excited to start with our students next week when they get here. So the first and probably the biggest thing that we're going to have is that we're going to be utilizing Naviance, which is going to be a great way for us to do lots of things with our students. It's a pretty amazing tool that I've used previously at a school before, and I really enjoyed it, and I think the students and families enjoyed it as well. One thing that we are really excited to do with Naviance is do more college and career lessons for the students starting in 7th grade. So there's a handout on the back page of the little packet we gave you, and I just briefly listed in the bottom right-hand corner some of the lessons that we want to do with students. So we want students to start building a resume when they're freshmen so that they have that if they want to start applying for summer jobs. We want them to start exploring college and career as soon as possible. So we've been working on creating an online college tour for students so that we can teach them how to navigate just like college websites, because that's really hard, but also can get them exploring different schools and things that they're interested in. You also can start saving your documents on there, so they can save their resume on there, they can save a cover letter on there, they can start creating a personal essay and save that to their Naviance, and they can also explore colleges through the Naviance website and save them to a list of schools that they're interested in learning more about, and they can start saving that list in 7th grade. And so if there's a school that they are really interested in, then they can start looking in 7th grade and thinking about like, okay, do I really want to do this? Or I don't know, or maybe it's really exciting to them to go out of state, and then they look on Naviance and see how expensive it is to go out of state and say, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. So we're excited to start using that tool. Next, we're going to have a early college planning presentation for our middle school families, and we're also inviting the elementary school families to attend as well. And Heath is going to come and do that presentation to help families start learning about college and getting educated as early as possible. We have an 8th grade field trip to a career and college fair in Manchester that is just starting to get into the works. So we'll have more details about that as we learn more, but it's going to be a great opportunity for our 8th grade students to really get an opportunity to learn more about college and career options. And then another thing is our 9th and 10th graders are going to take the PSAT. So they're going to be starting to prepare for the SAT at a much younger age now. And that gives us the opportunity to start working on linking their scores to Khan Academy earlier so that they have more time to use Khan Academy as an SAT prep tool. And then we're gonna do an I Apply Day for 12th graders that I'm really excited about, because we both are. So we're gonna have a bunch of volunteers come and help students apply to a college. And we're gonna have all of our seniors apply to one college that day, and it will be free for them to apply that day to a New Hampshire school. So we're really excited to have that opportunity for all of our students to apply to whatever school works for them, whether that's a 4-year or a 2-year or another option. And that doesn't mean that they have to go either, but that they have a free application. And then we're also going to do a 9th and 10th grade college and career presentation that the Heath will be giving for us as well, so that we can make sure that the 9th and 10th graders are still thinking about college and career and what's coming next.
Great.
And then there's a handout, like I said, on the back page where we talk about some of our goals for each year, what we want the 7th through 12th graders to know by the end of that year of school. With our 12th graders, we just want them to graduate and have plans for what comes next. And it also talks about the things that we plan on doing this year.
So it was a lot of information, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah.
Yes, we certainly are.
This is good.
You guys use Neat fairly often? the Neat folks?
Yes,
Yeah.
I use them a lot, yeah. So I already have 2 presentations through them scheduled, and I'm working on the 3rd, so
They're wonderful.
Yeah. very great resource.
Good job, ladies. Keep it up. Thanks very much. Thank you. It's exciting. So, next is.
Got it. All right, next facilities meeting, September 6th. It's not in the report, but because I forgot to put it there, the RFP is out for plowing and sanding, so don't throwing anything tonight. It's plowing and sanding. It's due September 6th. Spoke to 2 vendors already. What's it? Turn off the AC here. Roof replacements are scheduled to be completed by Friday at Lakeway. I was looking for an update today, but it was unsuccessful at reaching data. Engineering study, just an update, there was 2 phases in that. They're going to be able to complete phase 1 in September and then come back sometime midwinter with their recommendation to move to phase 2, which involves the designing or not designing if they feel from their test that they can repair the current walls. That's what phase 2 entails. So phase 1 will be done in September. There'll be 0 disruption. They don't need anything. They're just going to take their soil samples and so forth. All the faucets have been labeled that we talked about that didn't pass the lead testing.
How do you label them? How do you label?
There's a regular sticky label that says non-drinking,
them?
for washing only,
Okay,
and just hope everybody sees it.
really, I mean, it's really,
It's there, it's right on the handles,
Okay.
right on the handles.
Most of those things weren't ones that people were drinking out of anyways.
oh, okay,
So
yeah, that's right.
we got.
They're just regular classroom
Yeah.
sinks for the most part.
Wow.
Let's see, window blinds, installation started today. They have all the blinds up that they received. A couple of the larger blinds are due in on Wednesday. Those look like they're mostly for the academy. All the science ones were up except for 2. The dirt parking lot, you can omit the first line of no response. I received a response Sunday night from Mr. Clough. He's going to shoot for this Friday. However, looking at the parking lot with the staging that's being used for the paving, he wouldn't be able to do it this Friday if they're not out by Friday. So then we have next Friday as a vacation day that hopefully he could do it as well. It's weather dependent. Thank you to Rick Corrigan for the work on the handicap ramp. And also to Home Depot for honoring those gift cards that were 3 years old. But they supplied all the materials for the ramp. We are also working with Mr. Corrigan on upgrading the SAU entrance, safety doors for Patty's area, and then also a stronger door here And hopefully we can use the remaining balance of the gift cards for the materials, so we're only looking at a labor cost. I put the 5-year facilities plan in there mainly for you, Mary. You might need access to it, but just to see what we've worked on and where we're at. Technology, parents should be able to fill out their forms again if they already did it last year, or even if they didn't do it last year, if they signed in for the first time, the forms will pre-populate whatever's in PowerSchool, and I know we'll address at the parent and student orientation nights that if it's wrong, change it, click submit, it'll backtrack and update PowerSchool. And then the acceptable use guidelines, this is something we discussed as a tech committee last year, but it's a best practice throughout the tech directors that we deal with. Is if the parent and student hasn't signed the acceptable use agreement, they won't have computer access until they do. Because we're responsible for their actions with or without that. With that, it kind of puts some liability on the student and the parent. So we currently have I think it was 45 total student parents as of today that have done their forms. So by Sunday night, when I go in, whoever hasn't completed it will have no access on Monday morning. And then hopefully that'll encourage them to do the forms. So, but we, as a group, working with Jen, Katie, who's not here, at creating days and times for parents to come in. We did, I think today was 10 to 12. So, maybe parents that work at night, we tried to get them in today. We did one last week that was 2 to 4. We have 2 this week that are 6 o'clock. Next week is 6 o'clock. And then Lakeway is 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock for September 5th. So there's a lot of opportunity, and by appointment, Katie and myself are pretty available if they want to set up an appointment to come in and do the forms if they don't have the technology to do it at home. So that's it.
We've actually had a few parents come in to register new, and we had a Chromebook that Matt left us, so they've been able to do that right at the door.
And we get a lot of those times from the parent survey that we receive back. Parents are all over the place, so try to be strategic about when we offer that learning opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, mine's pretty short tonight. You can see the enrollment there, and like Jen said, we had kindergartners coming today to register, so I'm sure that will be different. We did a lot of summer math PD, so a big thank you to Stephanie Wyman. I think she did 14 different days where she trained our staff with how to teach math and set up their math blocks and things of that nature and create materials. So they did a lot of work together. And Steph attended everyone and provided the training. I linked our back to school days there. Currently, all of our positions are filled. So first year since I've been there that we're starting without a substitute in the building. And then I just listed our upcoming events. Dale referenced the September 5th night. That's our back to school night. So we're going to provide opportunities for the online training support when parents will already be there, hopefully. And then, like I said, those are just dates of things coming up, just right out of the gates. And actually, I know, Ann, you sometimes come and do a tour in the summer of the building to see how things are.
Yeah.
It's looking really good. The custodians went above and beyond this year.
I was just thinking about that. We do usually do a walk.
Yeah, so I'm at a training tomorrow morning, but I'll be there in the afternoon, and I'll be there, Wednesday, Thursday, if anybody wants to come through. So it looks really good.
Crystal, real quick, at the bottom you have down the 6th grade parent meeting for the overnight night.
Yep.
Does that give them enough time if they're selected to be one of the parent volunteers to get their background checked?
What we did last year, as long as they're in process, they're allowed to go because they're never alone. Are you going again?
But I don't have a child in 6th grade, so not unless I'm.
I didn't know if they were just gonna make you keep going.
If they do, I'm happy to go, but I don't have anybody in 6th grade this year. But no, I just didn't know if there was enough window of time, so
I
that's great.
think they reached out in the spring.
Okay.
Potential people already on the list, but we decided last year that as long as they're in process and have everything rolling, nobody's left alone out there.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, wait, was it handbook? Was there any changes to your handbook?
Nothing other than new staff and dates.
Okay, thank you. Before I forget again.
Alan?
So, we're looking forward to the start of the new school year. We don't have enrollments yet, of course. We have projections. We have students who signed up for courses in the spring, so we have those numbers, but they change a little bit. So, and then school start at different times. Most schools around the area start at the same time. So we'll have to do it like second day or so. But the regional still, they don't start until after Labor Day, so we have to kind of stretch that time period out. But just want to note on a few grants. Last year, we wrote a grant for about $14,000 per pathway grant, and that was used primarily to support Above the Notch, so for pathway work. And you heard the Grimes counselors talking about the 9th grade work. Well, Michelle and I had to present that grant and our outcomes to anyone who's interested at the state conference a couple weeks ago. And it was really well received. DOE was there, as well as other directors. So I think we accomplished what we hoped to. And I think most noteworthy is the 9th grade work that we did during task on Idea to Career website that was talked about. I had a group of 9th graders myself, and it's amazing how much they don't know. So they're really starting earlier with Albions is where they go. So we're pleased that we're doing that. Gives the students that opportunity. The Bike Tech program is all the equipment is here, and just to let you know that I had to work with the DOE because that isn't a career and tech program per se, but I was able to work it out with the DOE that it falls under the manufacturing program that we do offer. So we'll be able to receive tuition, and schools will be reimbursed for tuition and transportation. Otherwise, we were going to have to work out some MOUs with schools, but now we don't have to. So we're really happy to do that. And the Perkins grant for this year has been approved as well. So that's really good. So just a summary of the grants that, in terms of career technical, Hugh Gallatin that we received, they're in excess of $118,000 just last year. So it was a very good year. I want to continue that work. And just on a PD note, I've been asked to, or I've been appointed actually by the Commission of Education to sit on an advisory council for career technical education in Concord. There's only 3 directors that represent New Hampshire Career Technical group, so I'm very excited to serve on that committee. So we travel into Concord once a month, meeting with the commissioner and others.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Bigger names.
Okay, any more reports coming from the administrators? Nicole?
Back rows of
But they're still here.
Just here for
Yeah,
the.
they are, okay. Committee reports, personnel, none? You have a meeting coming up?
Yes, we are working on scheduling meetings.
Yeah.
I got being able to be late probably.
Okay. And facilities is coming up September 5th, 6th, whatever they get in. Policy, we have second reading and adoption tonight of policy JICD, which is student discipline. JICDD, which is student discipline out of school actions. And JICK, which is pupil safety and violence protection, bullying.
Everybody still good?
Yeah.
All right, yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve policy JICD, student discipline Policy JICDD, student discipline and school actions, and policy JICK, people safety, violence, protection, bullying, for second read and adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Superintendent's report. Bus routes.
Bus room.
Bus
Bus
routes.
routes, you had the document in the drive, the folder that Crystal provided us via Mary's, so very few changes there. And to my knowledge, we haven't had any requests for changes in that, major changes in that, like we did last year, so that's good. Cost of education study group update. I wasn't able to attend last week meeting because I was in Concord, but Al was there, Jennifer was there, who else?
Dan?
Dale.
Dale was there. Anyway, and some feedback, I know from talking to different people, Ann and Kim were there. Kim was there, yeah, Ann was in Maine. But, so I'll see to anyone who was at the most recent meeting, if they want to talk at all about what happened, or what was talked about last week, or the main topics. And if you don't, I can take what I gleaned from email.
Bueller.
Well, I think that it's interesting, the purpose of the group was to identify drivers for our cost per pupil, and do we have some drivers that raises our cost per pupil that aren't present in the other 6 schools, and we identified one right away. It was CTC, and in fact the costs of running the CTC, at least the pure CTC costs, runs around a significant amount of dollars. However, as we went into that further, we found that the CTC, although it on one side of the ledger increased costs, on the other side of the ledger, because of the revenue that's brought in and all the benefits educationally and otherwise, in the words of the committee, the CTC is a bargain. It's a jewel, it's a bargain, great thing. So that is one thing that was identified. Then we got into insurance. Everything was going really well because our premiums are among the lowest of the 7. We don't pay a higher percentage than most of the other 7. We took our demographics and put them out there and subjected them to a marketplace to a plan that would be similar to an employer in town or regionally that hired several employees, more than 10, and we looked pretty good there. Our policy looked good, our costs looked good, and then we went back and asked a very fundamental question. I guess our founder and chair, Mel Brooks, actually. So what are the costs? What are the districts paying year to year for insurance? And we got those numbers back in 17, 18. We're pretty high compared to the other 6. So now we're in the process of answering why that is. We know it's not because of the cost, it's not because of this or that. We're finding already, I just got some information back, we're finding that some of the districts for instance, one of the schools in the study that we're doing have 20 opt-outs. And it's not because that particular district, by the way, it's not because they offer huge incentives. They offer their employees $1,500 to opt out. So one of the things that I thought might be happening is that if school employees are married to someone who has a better plan someplace else, they don't take the school insurance. That's one theory. And there's some others. We're finding some of the other schools don't offer as big of a plan. Some don't offer much of anything to paraprofessionals or support staff. And I think that's something that this town and district and many around, by the way, have chosen not to do to keep the benefits somewhat even. So that's the biggest topic I think right now, and one that's I think has potential for explaining at least a little bit of our budget, a pretty good chunk of our budget, why there are some differences. And we'll continue to work on tying up special education, credits to graduate. A lot of very, very great questions have come out of that. The discussion has been wonderful. very respectful. And the people have done a lot of work. We've driven those other 6 districts crazy, I know that. Probably, but you know, we're just trying to learn more about our district and what other people do. So that group will continue to meet. Last week I was at a couple of conferences. Rochelle Cox and I were at the ESSA conference, which is the Every Student Succeeds Act. ESSA is the successor to No Child Left Behind, and it's through that particular act that a lot of our federal grant monies come from. Aside from IDEA, which is not ESSA, but our Title II comes through there, Title I comes through there. Some of our larger federal grants come through ESSA. So we went for a number of reasons to learn about some of the new things that are coming up, to build some rapport and relationships with the staff there, which I think is really important. Tim, what's Tim's Grudmeyer, right? He's, yeah, the person who's in charge of our audit last year, Grudmeyer. Important, make some connections with him. I went to several of his sessions and then just some follow-up on the things that he's seeing and the things we need to be doing in terms of policies and procedures. But we followed everything to a T there. We're in pretty good shape there. Talked with the Title II people a little bit about some of the things that we're doing. Then we had several, the conference ended with what I thought was a very nice event, and that was after all the breakout sessions and everything else, the staff of the New Hampshire Department of Ed sat at various tables, and you could just go and talk to any one of them about any questions that you had. It was a great way to end it. So kudos to the staff there. They did a great job. They put on a great conference. Then my third day of driving, I drove each day, went back to Concord for the Design Studio. The Design Studio is a group of educators who've been involved with competency-based education in New Hampshire from the very start. These people most of the people involved had their roots in the Sanborn School District, which was the leader in CBE, one of the early leaders in CBE. And so it was good. It was good to see some of the work that we've done. You know, and it should be similar to Sanborn. We had Ellen Human Howard here a lot, and yet we made it our own. We tried to take it and make it better. Brian Stack, the principal at Sanborn, presented a document, and he presented several documents. It was a grading procedures and practices document. There was one for elementary, one for middle school, one for high school, and he said, "Look at this document and tell people at your table how different your document is." Of course, he was expecting for people to look at Sanborn and say, "Wow," and then ours is nothing like it. And of course, I said, "Well, ours is pretty similar because we stole a lot of what you had there, although we did make some changes." But definitely those influences are showing up in some of our grading practices and CBD practices. A lot of new schools, a lot of attendees out of state, because New Hampshire does have the well-earned reputation of being out in front of the CBD movement. Some interesting discussions I had with some individuals from New York and other places. Thank you, Kim, for the tip, because I thought I should ask for their perspective. You know what, and what you find is that it's got to be done well, and it's got to be done fairly slowly and methodically. You've been through it over in Lisbon. Lisbon's done a pretty successful job of it, and you've got to first things first. You go through the process. You just jump in and don't do things in their proper order, and don't have a very strong sense of curriculum and so on. It's going to have major problems. So that was some very interesting conversations there. So I came away with that with some good ideas, some really good documents that I haven't had time to share with the ed team yet. We're trying to get ready for school to start, but I will. But I thought that 3 days were days well spent.
I think, I just wanted to point out, because unless Dale mentioned it and I wasn't paying attention, but you did update on the website under social emotional learning.
Oh,
There's,
yes, the resources.
under the parents page, there's the social emotional learning tab, and there's a list of resources for parents and families to access.
Wow.
Don't worry, I didn't say it.
Okay. Need a motion to go into non-public session.
I'll make a motion to enter into non-public session under paragraph 2, section 3 of the RSA 91A:3 of the right to know law for number 3, matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the board. And number 2, where we know. Yes. Yes, so number 2, the hiring any person as a public employee. Taking with us the superintendent, Patty, and Tom.
Everybody else is off the hook. If there's something we need to bring to the board, not to closed session. Anybody?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor with a roll call vote.
Greg Cook.
Molly Nelson.
Then we get,
Kim Woodson.
okay?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck with the beginning of the
Thank you.